Hello students, I'm Dr. Himanshu Kandpal, Assistant Professor English, Government MS College for Women, Bikaner. Today we are going to discuss the poem One Day I Wrote Her Name, which is written by Edmund Spenser. Introduction to the author. Edmund Spenser is considered as one of the most preeminent or the prominent poets of the English language. He was born in London in the year 1552 or 1553. Little is known about his family or his childhood except that he received a scholarship to attend the Merchant Taylors' School where he likely studied Latin and Greek. He went on to study literature and religion at Cambridge University, Pembroke Hall, receiving BA in 1573 and an MA in 1576. Spenser published his first volume of poetry, The Shepherd's Calendar, in 1579, dedicating it to the poet Sir Philip Sidney. He was also the author of The Fairy Queen, which was published in 1596. It was a major English epic, and Amorati and Epithalamion, a sonnet sequence dedicated to his second wife Elizabeth Boyle. Edmund Spenser was a man of his times, and his work reflects the religious and humanistic ideals as well as the intense but critical patriotism of Elizabethan England. His contributions to English literature in the form of a heightened and enlarged poetic vocabulary, a charming and flexible, versatile, and a rich fusing of the philosophic and literary currents of the English Renaissance entitle him to a rank not far removed from that of William Shakespeare and John Milton. And because of this writing capability, Charles Lamb called him the poet's poet because of the high quality of his verse. And he also experimented with the sonnet form and developed a unique form which came to be known as Spenserian sonnet. Now we move on to the poem. This is the text of the poem which I have already discussed in the previous video. Now we come to the theme of the poem. Edmund Spenser wrote a sequence of sonnets entitled Amorati, of which sonnet 75 is a part. Also titled One Day I Wrote Her Name Upon the Strand. This sonnet is also titled One Day I Wrote Her Name Upon the Strand. Edmund Spenser weaves a tale about the ocean, love and immortality. He writes about being at beach with his beloved and writing her name in the sand. As expected, a wave comes and washes away her name. He tries it again with the same result. The woman speaks up and states that it is unreasonable for him to continue writing her names as the wave will just continue washing it away. She compares that to her mortality, that eventually she will be erased from the earth just as her name is erased from the sand. The speaker in this sonnet then replies that he will make her immortal by writing about her in his poetry. That way, their names and love for each other will live on forever. So, this sonnet has been taken from the volume collection Amorati. It is numbered 75 in this collection. It is about ocean, love and immortality. It is also about the great power of poetry. It is written in a dialogue form. Now we come to the analysis of the poem. One Day I Wrote Her Name is a 14-line sonnet. That is a Spenserian sonnet. What is a Spenserian sonnet? A sonnet with 3 interlocked quatrains and a couplet written in iambic pentameter. Written about a woman that poet loves as he tries to eternalize. He tries to immortalize her in verse so that she will live on forever. The first 4 lines show the futility of life. or love or lasting forever, like writing in the sand. The speaker says that he does this, writing his sweetheart's love in the sand, but the waves come and wash it away twice. What the lover is doing, he is trying to write the name of his beloved on the sand, but again and again the waves, they come and wash the name. One day I wrote her name upon the strand, but came the waves and washed it away. The water tide comes and washes again, or make his beloved's name its prey. In the next 4 lines, the speaker's lady love tells him that he works in vain. It is futile to write her name on the sand, immortalize her, a mortal thing. She tells that it is futile to write the name, because again and again the tide is coming and it is washing away the name. The beloved tells the poet that there is no use of writing her name, because one day she will die or disappear from the earth. There is no what he is doing, he works in vain, and one day she will die or disappear from earth, just as her name has disappeared with the coming of the wave. She knows that everything is mortal. Mortal means everything on this earth which has taken birth is going to come to an end. She says her name will be lost, wiped out, as her body will fall to decay, as all living things must. In that moment, she says her name will be lost, wiped out, as the wave erases the letter in the sand. In essence, she is telling him to pull himself together. This is the way of life and death. She knows the reality of life, that one who has taken birth is going to die. So it is a futile task to immortalize her by writing her name on sand, because everyone knows that man is a mortal being. A mortal thing, so too immortalized, for I myself shall like to this decay. The author's love for this woman is so great that he refuses to accept what she has said and strives to prove her wrong. Other things that are baser may die and rot. Baser means inferior. May die and rot. But he insists that by writing this poem, he will immortalize her. Now, this poem is in dialogue form, and what he now says that, the baser things, the inferior things may die and are subject to death. But he insists that by writing this poem, he will immortalize her. Being romantic and idealist, the poet asserts that the gross, insignificant, sordid things might be the part of the transient world, but his beloved is a fulsome personality, a subject of immortality. So, he feels that the less important things, they are going to get destroyed, but she is going to live forever, because he is going to immortalize her by writing this poem. Not so, Corda, let baser things devise, to die in dust, but you shall live by fame. Thus, the poet wishes to articulate the love to his dear in his poetry of artistic excellence. The poetry, he thinks, will renew her love beyond their physical years. He will immortalize her by writing about her in poems through the lines of the poetry. Then even life, even after death, in the empire of God will be renewed. My verse your virtues rear shall eternize, and the heavens write your glorious name, where when as death shall all the world subdue, our love shall live and later life renew. This is how he is going to immortalize her, not only her beloved, but also their love. All this world, all things in this transient world is they are going to die, rot, decay. But through his poem, he is going to immortalize her beloved and he's going to immortalize beloved and their love. Style of the poem. One Day I Wrote Her Name is a 14-line sonnet. Now I'm going to discuss the style of the poem or few qualities of the poem. One Day I Wrote Her Name is a 14-line sonnet written about a woman that poet loves as he tries to eternalize her verse so that she will live on forever. Spenser created a whole new sonnet form for his Amorati sonnet sequence. This form became so famous that we call it the Spenserian sonnet. Some other types of sonnets that you might be familiar with are Petrarchan sonnet and Shakespearean or English sonnet. The sonnet is written in iambic pentameter with the rhyme scheme AB, AB, CD, AB, AB, BC, BC, CD, CD and EE. This I am talking about Spenserian tone with the rhyme scheme. If we talk about a simple sonnet, that is a Petrarchan sonnet that is written in iambic pentameter with the rhyme scheme AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF, GG, which shows the pattern of rhyme scheme. There is a rhyming couplet at the end of the poem which acts as a summary of the previous 12 lines. Okay, here I would like to tell you something about that Petrarchan sonnet follows the rhyme scheme of ABBA, ABBA, CDE, CDE. Then we come to the Shakespearean sonnet. It follows the pattern of AB, AB, CD, CD, EF, EF and GG. But there is a change in the Spenserian sonnet. It follows the rhyme scheme A, B, A, B, B, C, B, C, C, D, C, D and E, E. The lyric poem touches on a classical theme, the relation between time and immortality. Edmund Spenser employs figurative language to evoke not only imagery but also an emotional response from the reader. In the poem, One Day I Wrote Her Name, Spenser uses symbolism, personification and alliteration to analyze the theme that everyone goes through a heartbreak. He makes use of symbols that create a kind of an symbols we can say he make uses of images that create an image in the mind of the reader. He personification, he give human qualities to non-living things, and alliteration is like using it is a device which uses the consonants and the repetition of consonant sounds. When it is a repetition of consonant sound, it is called as assonance. When there is a repetition of vowel sound, it is called as assonance. Okay, repetition of consonant sounds, consonants, and repetition of vowel sound, that is called as assonance. Okay, for example, one day I wrote her name upon the strand, but came the waves and washed it away. Again, I wrote it with the second hand, but came the tide and made my pains his prey. This quote indicates to the reader that Spenser was recently heartbroken and is not over the girl. Within that quote, the author uses alliteration to signify the softness that she left in his heart. For instance, waves and washed. The use of were and were sounds. Okay. Also in the human nature, there is also a predator and prey, but in this poem, it isn't always a human characteristic. Edmund personifies the tides as the predator and his pain as his prey. This is the use of personification in the poem. He personifies the tides, giving the human qualities to the waves. Tide and made my pains his prey. After he wrote her name in beach sandline again, the tides came and washed her name and his pain away. The author made something so common in life seem so uncommon, a mortal thing so to immortalize. The poem shows us a vivid picture. That is, the poet makes use of symbolism, images. The couple is along the seaside, the man in the trying to write the lady's name on the sand, but waves come and wash it away. Spenser metaphorically compares tide rising and falling to the process of life. Also in the sentence, but came the tide and made my pains his prey, The poet personifies the sea water to a beast and compares the name to his prey, which implies that time and tide wait for no man and that everyone is doomed to die. The lady in this poem feels insecure about time fleeting, while the man insists on our love shall live and later life renew. This is all about the poem. One day I wrote her name upon the strand. Thank you.